I mean, you've done, in your book, you did, as well as painting an incredible optimistic vision, you were super eloquent on the dangers of AI. And I'm just curious where, from the view that you have now, what is it that most keeps you up at night?
I think the great risk is that we get stuck in what I call the pessimism aversion trap. We have to have the courage to confront the potential of dark scenarios in order to get the most out of all the benefits that we see, right? So the good news is that if you look at the last 2 or 3 years, there have been very, very few downsides, right? It's very hard to say explicitly what harm an LLM has caused. But that doesn't mean that that's what the trajectory is going to be over the next 10 years. So I think if you pay attention to a few specific capabilities, take, for example, autonomy. Autonomy is very obviously a threshold over which we increase risk in our society, and it's something that we should step towards very, very closely. The other would be something like recursive self-improvement. If you allow the model to independently self-improve, update its own code, explore an environment without oversight, and without a human in control to change how it operates, that would obviously be more dangerous. But I think that we're still some way away from that. I think it's still a good 5 to 10 years before we have to really confront that, but it's time to start talking about it now.
A digital species, unlike any biological species, can replicate not in 9 months, but in 9 nanoseconds, and produce an indefinite number of copies of itself, all of which have more power than we have in many ways. I mean, the possibility for unintended consequences seems pretty immense. And isn't it true that if a problem happens, it could happen in an hour?
No. That is really not true. I think there's no evidence to suggest that. And I think that that's often referred to as the intelligence explosion. And I think it is a theoretical, hypothetical maybe that we're all kind of curious to explore, but there's no evidence that we're anywhere near anything like that. And I think it's very important that we choose our words super carefully, because you're right, that's one of the weaknesses of the species framing, right? We will design the capability for self-replication into it if people choose to do that. And I would actually argue that we should not, right? That would be one of the dangerous capabilities that we should step back from, right? So there's no chance that this will emerge accidentally. I really think that's a very low probability. It will happen if engineers deliberately design those capabilities in, and if they don't take enough efforts to deliberately design them out. And so this is the point of being explicit and transparent about trying to introduce safety by design very early on.
So thank you.